Joined in studio now by Bills team reporter Maddy Glab, also co-host of Bills Tonight, to present the latest edition of the Maddy Awards. One day late since we didn't have a show yesterday. Bills have won 5 straight, and the Maddy Awards are presented by Energy Mark, the official energy supplier to the Buffalo Bills. Welcome back, Maddy.
Happy to be back. 5 straight. Let's keep it going.
That's right. I like some of the titles this week. You kind of went out. You were exercising your creativity
I was
this week.
trying to use the brain.
It probably gets hard, right?
It does.
Like by the time you get to like week 10, 11.
Sometimes things come to me and it's like, oh yeah, this fits. And then sometimes I'm like, I've already used this word. I've already used this award.
Yeah, there is a lot of wordplay
here.
You can have a 2-time winner of the same award or a different winner.
There's
there are no rules
for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
but I try to make it fresh and fun.
There are no rules. Or if there are rules, they don't apply to us.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, let's begin with the Magnet Award.
All right, the Magnet. Nickel cornerback Taron Johnson is a magnet to the football. The Bills haven't even settled into the game or have an understanding of how Indy is trying to attack them. And Taron Johnson has a pick 6 on the Colts' first play of the game. Johnson was close to having multiple takeaways in this one. He plays with such an understanding of the defense. He has such a good handle on what's going on and does so much film study that by the time it's game time, he can truly read and react and make big plays in games like we saw.
Unbelievable.
Right. And what we saw, did you hear Taron's explanation in the post game? Because he had said, I played that exact play a certain way on film against Miami in week 2, and it's his suspicion that the Colts saw that and felt they could run a similar play and get him on it as well. And he went to Kembe Mutombo and said,
It's unbelievable. It's what you can learn from watching film and sometimes it happens. There have been guys, across the annals of the league history that have done that kind of preparation. Peyton Manning was famous for it. Ed Reed was famous for it.
Steve Tasker was famous for it.
Yeah. Whoever that is. And when it comes out, you can almost not believe. It's like, oh my gosh, it happened exactly the way I envisioned it when I prepared. And Taron, threw it right to him.
If you watch it though, he kind of crouches down, and it's almost like he's hiding underneath receiver and defender.
That's right.
He's hiding,
and
Joe couldn't see him.
And you can see too that in the earlier play, he probably would have jumped the underneath route.
Yeah,
knowing that the safety's way deep over the top, and he didn't. He sloughed off underneath a deeper route and got it.
And to do that on the first play of the game is just maddening. Like, you have no idea. You have some idea of, okay, these are how they've scripted, the first few plays of the game, the first few drives. But it's not like Joe Flacco has been starting at quarterback every single game. It's incredible.
He's walking off the field are you kidding me?
Well, here's how the law of averages caught up precipitously with Joe Flacco. Going into the game, he had 2 interceptions on his first 135 pass attempts this season. He then threw 2 in his first 5 throws of the game.
Yep.
That's Sunday.
Yeah. It was what a way to start the game. And, it's like, okay, you could see Bills fans just like rotating their shoulders like, let's go. All right, here we go. Settle in.
All right, so Next Man Up Award.
Next man up, it's going to our wide receiver, Mack Hollins. No Amari Cooper, no Keon Coleman, no problem. Why? Because you've got wide receiver Mack Hollins on your team. Hollins had a solid go-to game against the Colts, and he has done so in the last 2 weeks. Against the Colts, he goes 4 of 4 for 86 receiving yards. He had that huge 44-yard completion on 3rd down and had a heads-up play to help control the clock so the drive stays alive and turns into points as time expires in the first half. Hollins had some misses earlier on this season. There were some throws that Josh Allen made throughout this year where it should have been a catch and it wasn't for Hollins. And it was great to see him take a step forward in a game where they needed him. He answered.
Yeah.
We saw this even back in training camp. Hollins makes a play in training camp.
And he lets everybody know.
He lets
about
everybody know, and they know it.
He
You can
doesn't
see him
stop
there talking to
talking.
the Colts guys.
I'm too big for you. That was
I
one of the
am
lines he
too
had in
big.
training
I'm
camp.
too
I am
big.
way too big for
I'm
you.
too big. You know, he's great. A lot of fun to watch him, and he's the same guy during the game, not just in practice.
9 targets, 9 catches, 116 yards, and a touchdown the last 2 games.
Pretty
in the absence
good.
of some other guys. That's been
Enormous.
big.
It's absolutely enormous.
All right, the On Fire Award.
On fire, it's going to our defense because they played with their hair on fire, like they were possessed on some drives with the aggressive nature that they played with. Johnson has that pick 6 on the first play of Indy's first drive. And then you have defensive tackle Austin Johnson, who records his 2nd interception in 3 weeks. Defensive end Greg Rousseau has a strip sack fumble, and then safety Taylor Rapp grabs an interception. The defense was flying all over the place, and it really limited what the Colts could do. They have the best turnover margin in the NFL right now, thanks to the defense. Top 2 in takeaways with 19. That is the identity of this group this season. They are a splash play defense, and they need to keep it going because you're facing a Chiefs team who keeps sneaking out wins at the end of these games. These random things happen in the Chiefs' favor. Maybe the splash play defense can come up with a couple of splash plays at the end.
I wonder if
at the end,
I wonder if opposing offenses are now terrified to throw screen plays against this Bills defense because two teams have been victimized with interceptions on screens.
Well, the reason they keep doing it is because the Bills have been. That's the way
they've been susceptible.
They've been susceptible. They got it. They're trying to negate the pass rush a little bit, give them a little bit of hesitation, and they go to the screen pass. And the Bills have given up some plays.
Yes,
especially on early downs, 1st and 2nd downs on those screen plays. And now the Bills are going to listen. That's enough of that. You know, you got the D line. You got Austin Johnson snagging one.
Tied for the team lead in interceptions.
Unbelievable. Yeah. So yeah, it's that thing where if they do that, you do this, and then they've got to react to it. So,
Comeback Player of the Year award.
All right, this is a fun one. Comeback Player of the Year. It's Damar Hamlin's fumble recovery. Okay, Colts quarterback Joe Flacco wins Comeback Player of the Year last year. Coming off of the couch to lead Cleveland to a playoff appearance, he goes 4-1 in the final 5 weeks of the regular season for the Browns. Everyone knew that Bills safety Damar Hamlin should have won that award for coming back after suffering a cardiac arrest episode in January of 2023. Even Flacco admitted, hey, Hamlin should have won that award. So Hamlin recovers a Flacco fumble. He's got the upper hand in this one.
Yeah, as Steve famously said on this show, no one came back from more than Damar Hamlin.
Yes.
Who literally came back to life.
Yes.
So
I'll say this too, and which I'm kind of, and on the one hand, I'm also glad because it lets me say this too. The year that Josh Allen did not win the MVP. Now, I know the MVP is a regular season award. And I'll say it again. When it was all said and done, Super Bowl and everything was all decided last year, Josh Allen had the same number of interceptions and more touchdowns than the MVP and the Comeback Player of the Year combined. Yeah, but he didn't win the MVP. That's just me.
With that in mind, we'll turn the page and go to the Headlock Award.
The Headlock Award. It's the second half run defense. It was a big upgrade from the first half to the second half. The Bills went from sitting in economy in the first half to sitting in first class in the second half with the adjustments when it came to their run defense. They allowed 107 rushing yards to running back Jonathan Taylor in the first half. Second half, just 7 rushing yards. Taylor was a complete non-factor in the third and fourth quarter. It wasn't like the Colts completely abandoned the run either. They were still giving it to Taylor early on in the third quarter, and the run defense just made adjustments that worked. The front seven had some huge tackles on Taylor that made the Colts reconsider, do we even want to keep running the football?
Yeah, it was a good show for sure. And then finally, the Welcome Back Award.
Welcome back. Josh Allen, welcome back to running the football with your legs. We missed you a lot. Allen had the second most rushing yards on the team, and it was his second time this season that he's rushed for at least 50 yards. He had that 21-yard run and had that rushing touchdown. And Are we starting to see him unlock the legs a little bit more now because we're in November? We've got some big games coming up in the next 2 months. Allen is a total weapon on the ground. He's so hard to stop because of his athleticism and his attitude when he takes the ball on his own. When Allen runs the rock, he's got a I don't care about who's in front of me attitude. I don't care what's going to happen. I'm going to stiff arm you. I'm going to jump over you, and I'm going to find some green grass because he's like Goliath when he takes off.
Yeah, the stiff arm to Dio Adangbo was kind of retribution for getting punched in the head by that guy on the sneak play.
Right.
But yeah, it was nice to see him use his legs. His 50 yards rushing, second highest total this season. I think 54 is his season high earlier in the year. So it was, and it was good on a day where he wasn't like lights out passing the ball.
Yes.
So it was a welcome sight to see that. Maddy, thanks very much. We appreciate it. We hope to see you next week because that would be a big one. So another Maddy Awards in week 11, everybody. Cross your fingers.
Yes.